So I want to share what is an angel and what am I talking about is an angel. And an angel is like an archangel is someone that has like never incarnated. They're considered God's right hand man, quote unquote, where they work with our infinite intelligence and they bring different energies onto our planet and support us for different reasons, but they've never been incarnated. There's only two archangels, I believe, that have been incarnated, and that would be Archangel Metatron and Archangel Enoch, I believe. Those two were actually incarnated. And I'm going to go into when I'm saying that they've never been incarnated as a human, but yet on the flip side, I'm saying that there are incarnated angels or earth angels. These are two different things. And I'm going to talk about earth angels and our incarnated angels a little bit later on in the podcast. But for the beginning part, I want you to know that there's these archangels, they've never been incarnated, but then there is like, I guess what you would say like a species or an offspring, if you will, of humans that have this angelic realm energy on them. And we'll talk about that a little later on in the podcast. But so the way to like recognize angels are super subtle. And I also want to make sure that nobody's confused with angels versus past loved ones. Okay. Past loved ones are past loved ones. Angels are angels. There's different realms of angels. There's the archangels, which are, like I said, like God's right hand people. There's cupids, right? Like the little love cutie angels. They are really small. There's seraphim, which are like 7-winged angels. And those are angels that really help with our planet. Different seraphim are assigned, if you will, to different segments of the earth. And so many more different types of angels. Okay. I'm always talking about different fairies. So we could talk about a flower fairy or, a gnome, those different types of energies. Same thing goes with angels. There's different types of energies, different types of frequencies to work with when it comes to angels. Generally speaking, angels are very, very subtle. It's not like you're going to get a smack in the face from an angel unless you are in danger and it's not your time to depart, right? It's not your time to go on the other side of the energy veil. Then they can intervene. And the reason why I'm bringing this up too is we have free will as humans. So angels cannot intervene unless it's something along those lines, like we weren't supposed to die in a car accident. So you hear these miraculous stories all the time where like a car was completely moved and nothing was there. I'm sure you guys have heard really amazing stories. That would be the work of angels. But generally speaking, if you already signed up to pass away in a car accident, they're not going to intervene because that is your free will. Angels work with people all the time on all different topics, but I do want to say the most obvious is they work with clairaudience, which is psychic hearing, big time. So people that are highly clairaudient are also have a high tendency to work with the angelic realm on a more natural basis, right? We can all develop, you guys know, I'm always talking about my Wake Up program. And in that program, we have a whole section on angels. So we can all develop and we can all work with angels, but generally speaking, the people that have more of a clairaudience tendency will have more easier way to just work with angels randomly. They really love singing. So anybody that is in a choir, hello, choir of angels, get it, right? Anybody that is a songwriter, anybody that really loves music or singing, writing songs, those people are generally really, really connected to the angelic realm because the angels love music. So like raise your hand while you're listening to this podcast if that is you. They work with all things, okay? But really a major sign is if you're really love music, work with music, write music, sing music, and hear random songs that bring signs to you. And we're going to talk about the different signs that angels bring you as well. So when I say they work in all different realms, we get to call upon these energies and ask them for help. Because remember, a few minutes ago, I said we have free will. So they can't help us. They can't help us unless we actually ask. So it's important for you to ask your angels. You know how people are saying, I pray, like, right? So praying is, sending that request. Meditating is receiving that request. So when we pray, regardless of who you're praying to, I want to say, and people might get all fired up about this, you're really setting an intention with that prayer, and you're really asking for help in a different area. You don't need to know what angel works in what department, because their archangels, they do have different jobs, if you will, quote unquote, right? Like Archangel Uriel would help you with confidence. Archangel Michael is your main squeeze if he has to do with anything protection. Archangel Gabriel is your angel for if you want to write a book, or if you have family matters. Archangel Ariel is really into animals, but you guys don't need to necessarily know that. If you do, sure, you got maybe a more direct dial in, but I don't even believe that. It's really just you're setting that intention. You could be praying for your pet, and you don't know who you're requesting the help from, but Archangel Ariel all of a sudden is there to assist with your healing your pet, right? Archangel Raphael is the healing angel. If you're requesting help for healing, Archangel Raphael is going to step forward, but you don't need to necessarily know who you're calling on. So isn't that great news? You guys just need to ask for help, okay? Angels are also can work through time and space. You're never going to take away from somebody else if you're asking for help. This is where a lot of people go wrong, because they're like, well, I don't want to ask the angels for help finding my keys because there's sick children in a hospital across the other side of the world that these angels need to tend to. Okay. Angels can be anywhere, anytime. There's no such thing as time or space. It could also be called invariant. So they're here, they're there. They could be helping you and me and the kids in the hospital across the country on the other side of the world at the exact same time, because it's just an energetic request. And this is what gets me, fired up about when we're blending science with spirituality, is because we say these angels are entities and energies, but when we're talking about the scientific quantum field, and we're talking about that prayer and that intention, in reality, you're just stimulating the quantum field, and you're going to automatically get help from this energetic being that also exists in this quantum energetic field, right? Nerd alert. I want to share with you a little bit about the different signs that they leave us. Angels are super awesome when it comes to signs. So are past loved ones, right? But angels, they be dropping feathers all the time. Feathers where you would never be able to find one. One will just come floating out of thin air. Leave a comment if you've had this happen to you. They will float out of thin air like it didn't even freaking exist. It could be the tiniest little feather, or it could be a big old hawk feather or eagle feather. All the different colors mean something different too when it comes to feathers. Literally, you could just Google feather color meanings and it'll pop for you. But generally speaking, when we get the black feather, that's going to be protection, just like a black tourmaline. White feathers are generally like, they're like, hey, we're with you. Then there's so many different colors. Like I said, just Google it. Blue, I would venture to guess, would be something about speaking. Probably goes along with a lot of your chakra colors as well. I just got confirmation staring out the window while I'm recording this, and a big giant blue jay just landed when I said the blue feather was about communication. So there you go. Also, side note, since the blue jay just showed up, blue jays are all about speaking. If you've ever seen a blue jay, they're really, really loud and boisterous, and they're like, rah, rah, rah. So if you see one, it's letting you know to speak your truth, right? Or to speak up. sing your song. Don't hold back. But anyways, back to the signs that angels leave you. Feathers, right? Goosebumps. We call those validation bumps. This could come from both past loved ones, your spirit guides, and angels. But I like to say that angels, they will be just goosebumping you up, especially if you guys are singers. Have you ever been a singer and you sang such a beautiful song, or even just listen to a beautiful song? For me, I know it may sound nerdy, but it's the national anthem. I'm a choir girl. I'm a choir girl. Okay. Uh, and anytime I hear it or sing it, I get the goosebumps. And it's just like the angels are standing there with you. They're singing. Um, they love to sing. You hear about the angels playing their harps. It is the real deal. Goosebumps. Okay. And then again, I was saying songs. They communicate with songs so very much. So does a past loved one. But the angels are going to send you something that you wouldn't necessarily relate to being connected with that past loved one. It's more of like a message of the day, or it may even have the word angel in the song. So they do songs. And then visually speaking, okay, they like to send sparkles too. So for me, this was one of my agreements early on with the spirit realm, is I would just randomly see a sparkle at the corner of my eye, and I would know that my angels were with me, or that they were trying to get my attention because there's a sparkle. Those are just some different signs. So how to work with angels? Number one, it's like, just ask them for help. And be ready for them to give you a sign. But also remember, I said they're very, very subtle, very, very soft energy. So you're going to have to quiet your mind, the monkey mind, down. Get really, really, really grounded and learn to be really, really, really quiet. I love to tell my students, especially, clairaudience, psychic hearing. A lot of times it's not an auditory sign outside of your head. A lot of times it's this streaming thought that will come in. So working with angels, it's really great to always have your journal with you. Because as we're touching that pen to paper, all of a sudden we're allowing our subconscious mind to open up. Our logical mind is taking a back seat, and then we can ask specific questions. And this is a little different than automatic writing. Okay. That's another topic similar to this, but you're actually receiving via your clairaudience, and it's just a streaming thought that comes in that's not necessarily yours. And then you touch that pen to paper and it comes out so much easier. So this is a great way to work with them. If you're an energetic healer, starting to ask Archangel Raphael to come in and be in your healing sessions. Really, all you have to do is ask. When it comes to the angels, they are so willing to be there. They are like begging you to invite them in. Oh, the other sign too, right? Hello, 1111, your awakening code, 111, 555. All these repeating numbers, a lot of the times, are your angels. 1111 is definitely that key one. And I always share with everybody that once the angels know that that there's some sort of number sequence happening, then they're going to start bombarding you with the numbers. And then you get to listen to some of my other YouTube videos on Brandaleen Johnson on YouTube. I have some talking about the different cocktails of angel numbers. And maybe I'll do a new podcast for you guys about the different angel numbers and the cocktails and what they mean and how fun it is. Because I get so many people always reaching out to me like, okay, fine. What the hell is happening? I see 111, 222, 333 all day long. So there are different little cocktails. But now I want to talk to you guys about incarnated angels and the DNA imprints and what incarnated angels, some of them look like, right? I love to share with y'all what I've picked up over doing multiple readings, because if you're a reader, it's going to give you this shortcut to know how to tap in and be like, there's an incarnated angel right there. I can help them with their life purpose right now. I could, help guide them to their greatest challenge, their best lessons on this planet, because you know what they look like. So I say incarnated angels are not necessarily an angel, an archangel, But incarnated angels come from this type of realm. Now, I could go on forever about DNA imprints because everybody has different DNA imprints from different lifetimes, from different experiences, not necessarily human, okay, from different planets, from different star systems. And we come to this planet, to this incarnation as your human self, as you're listening to this podcast right now, unless, of course, this podcast is being broadcast across the galaxy, which perhaps it probably is. But um, you will have these different imprints on you when you come to incarnate. And this helps you, if you understand what your imprint is, it helps you live a better life. It helps you know what your purpose is. So incarnated angels come from these different realms and they have a little sprinkle. You might have multiple different DNA imprints, but while in multiple different types, like you might be fairy, angel, mermaid, witch, but most of the time you're going to have a stronger imprint on you. And that's going to help me or my students that have learned through my Awaken program be able to help guide you, or for yourself, if that's all you're wanting to learn is what is my imprint, be able to best navigate your human experience here on this third dimension plane right now. So having said that, incarnated angels, a lot of times they are overweight. Think about it this way. They're like floating on their cloud in this angelic realm. Everything's freaking perfect. There's no ego. It's all la-di-da. They got their freaking harp. They're on their little cloud, and bam, they decide to incarnate as a human, and they come to third dimension where we're in this crazy hologram of control. And there's so many different people with ego issues. There's so many different wounded people here, wounded humans here, that this incarnate angel comes and they're like, holy shit balls, what did I just sign up for? And they feel so deeply for anything or anyone that's having pain. So the extreme animal empathy, right? They will have a lot of relationship issues because they're always trying to save the other person. Let me take the word always back. The majority of the time they're trying to save the other person until they do their inner work. A lot of you guys are going to be saying, oh my God, that's me. And I believe a lot of us go through a lot of trauma, especially if you're going through your spiritual awakening. You probably do have relationship issues. You probably do care more for other people than yourself. So that's one thing with all of us. But incarnated angels, they take it to like the extreme. A lot of times they'll have hoarding problems. A lot of times they will, like I said, be overweight. They'll have stomach issues if they're not overweight. They'll a lot of times have big boobs. When I say overweight and big boobs, this is a protection measure for a lot of people with trauma. But for incarnated angels, it's a protection measure so that they don't feel the pain so deeply around them, and they have a way to like impact it, right? It's like your airbags, literally. Your big boobs or your stomach's like your airbag, so that you don't feel so deeply, and it has a way. And it's also a form of like protection. Incarnated angels, right, often are empaths. They're often in narcissistic relationships. Their greatest challenges are learning to love themselves more than anyone else, period. That is like their greatest lesson, I should say, is to learn to love themselves before anybody else. All of y'all that are incarnated angels are empaths right now, that are really deep into the empathy or incarnated angel. You are probably really have a problem with what I just said, because you feel like you need to come last. You feel like you're here for service, because angels are here for service. But when we're coming to this plane of existence, it is so important for you to learn the self-love before you're loving everybody else. So their greatest challenges are sacrificing their joy, right? Our people pleasing. Again, the relationships, a toxic relationship, putting themselves last, always feeling like they're the bottom of the totem pole at work, constantly, recycling different relationships, feeling hurt right? Feeling like when they need something, everybody else is gone, but feeling like they're always there for everybody else, but when they need something, everybody else is gone. This is a big problem across the board that really needs to be addressed, because when we can step into loving ourselves first, that's when we're standing in our light and we're being an example for everyone else around us, and then they shift. I remember a saying from Abraham Hicks, law of attraction, saying you can never dip down and save someone. You can never dip down to save someone. You need to stand on your pedestal and be a shining light. And only then can somebody pick up your energeticness, and decide that they want to also feel the way that you feel. Now, if you're playing, savior mode, then you're going to constantly attract people that are wanting from you. Whereas if you're self-love, you're going to have your boundaries set, you're going to be loving yourself, and you're going to be an example and a beacon. One other thing I want to talk about before we wrap this up is different group clusters of different angelic realms. There's something called color rays. I've not gotten too deep into it, but like we say, the different colors of different angels. So like Archangel Raphael is going to be coming in with the color green. Archangel Uriel is going to be coming in with the color yellow. Archangel Gabriel is going to be coming in with the color blue. Metatron purple. So many different colors coming in, and each color carries a different frequency, right? I have also done readings and heard of other people that have done readings, and heard from my clients coming in that do work with angels. And that's why I love spiritual awakening, because we're always learning. As a teacher, I'm always learning, because my students are always bringing their new experiences to me. And then we get to piece together these things, and also work with spirit to clarify. These different colors are different clusters of energetics. Can you work with each angel? Yes. But some people have come forward and said to me, I am from Archangel Gabriel's cluster. Therefore, maybe their purpose is also about helping people with their families, helping people write, helping people communicate, because the color blue. Very, very interesting when you get really deep into all the different types of angels, the colors of angels, the cluster groups. What cluster group do you belong to if you're an incarnated angel? But generally speaking, incarnated angels, their life purposes are amazing as healers, right? Anybody along those lines, not necessarily in sales. Sales, a lot of empaths, incarnated angels, they don't commingle with that. I believe there's such a soft, subtle, feminine type of energy, even though they could be strong as hell and protect you, like Archangel Michael. They're so soft and subtle that it's not more of that masculine, do this, sell this. Can they sell? Yes. I've met some empaths and incarnated angels that are really good with sales, because they could feel the emotions of other people around them. It's a huge sign. If you could feel the emotions of others around you, then they might know what that person, like, for example, it was a real estate agent that was a empath incarnated angel, and she could tell exactly the perfect house that her client would fit in, because she would know how her client would feel when they were in that, because she could feel the emotions of others, even projecting into the future of how that person's emotions would be into the future, which is amazing when we learn how to direct our awareness through time and space. So yes, they can work in sales, but a lot of times they don't. So that might be something. Working in the healthcare industry, major thing for incarnated angels, and working in the music industry, major way to work with angels. I hope you guys loved this episode of the Creating Consciousness podcast. Check out my Awaken program so you can learn so much more about angels, or coaching with me for spiritual awakening support. Sending y'all so much love. Have a beautiful day.